Can you tell me one of your more memorable stories working a cleanup on public lands? It could be anything, but just something that stands out, like one or two stories.
Oh man. Well, I would talk about the poop burrito, but I have a feeling Kevin's going to talk about that because he was a little bit more heavily involved.
We had to use a telehandler to pick up a tent that had been used as a outhouse. And so we rolled it up like a burrito and we hooked it on the end of the telehandler, and this giant poo burrito just got hovered out in midair, and we put it into the dumpster, and all of us just like ready to sprint if that thing looked like it came apart.
I don't know if my call sign, yeah, Captain Poo Burrito. Yeah, that happened, and I'm okay with that. It was a success. I think it would be a different story if it had been a failure.
The importance of public land stewards, it's kind of like a two-tiered feel. Right now, we're very reactive. You know, we have to do our part, engage a community, find people that are also passionate about recreating on public lands in order to try to keep these places accessible. And we do that by cleaning up. The other tier of public land stewards is we really want to educate. We want to be proactive. We follow tread lightly principles. We try to preach those tread lightly principles. All of that stuff is really important.
It's more than a movement because it's work. It's real work that gets done. It's not a thought. It's not a hopes and prayers. It's real on the ground work that you can do. Anybody can do it.
This is a mecca for outdoor recreation. Our public lands are our #1 asset.
Working with Kevin and Jeremy, we decided that the Public Land Stewards was going to be a great organization right here in Central Oregon because we have so much accessibility to public land. And what we could do is organize volunteer-oriented cleanups.
It's about getting something done, something that desperately needs to be done. And the more people you get involved with that, the more effective you are.
Cleanups are a lot of fun. You know, it brings people together for a common cause. One of the best things about the cleanups that I love is seeing people from different recreations who technically on paper or in social media are supposed to hate each other. You know, the off-roaders and the ultra runners, the mountain bikers and the shooters. You know, it's funny to see in one cleanup, everyone come together, share a beverage, have a sandwich, pick up trash together, help each other up a hill that they're trying to carry something up. It's really fun to see the community element of everybody coming together for a common cause.
I love doing this type of work with Public Land Stewards because of the community and being able to give back to the lands that I love to play in.
When I walk away, I know I've accomplished something and the group has accomplished something quite amazing in a very, very short amount of time.
What I love about Public Land Stewards is we're out here cleaning up messes that, people just turn a blind eye to, and we're tired of looking at it, so we're going to do something about it.
The outdoor areas that are around Bend are just so vital for what I feel is the essence of what Central Oregon should be. And so being able to come out here and try to maintain it the way that I remember when I first moved here is my goal and my ideal.
My favorite thing about PLS is seeing the different community members come out and being willing to pick up trash and have camaraderie with one another.
I really enjoy the camaraderie amongst the group and among that, and the difference that we make in the community, it's large.
What I love about Public Land Steward is how they coordinate volunteers to come out, no matter what, what organization they're from or what they like to do, to come out in the forest and give back.
I love keeping public lands open and access for everyone, which is why I volunteer with Public Land Stewards.
This is actually one of my favorite things to do out here because I feel like I can actually make things better and make a difference.
So I'm here today with my friend Kevin. Kevin is one of the founders of Public Land Stewards, also a volunteer, which we tried to stress that everybody's a volunteer with the organization, right Kevin?
We are all volunteers.
We're all volunteers. So what are we going to do today?
We are doing our semi-weekly trash run in one of the acute areas to help reduce our winter buildup of trash in the region from the responsible inhabitants living in the forest who are making a proactive work to bag and organize their trash so that we kind of become a service to help them. It helps us in the long term because trash bags sitting when there's no services professionally, locally, at any level are available. Eventually those bags get opened by every animal and critter and get blown everywhere, and it becomes a huge cleanup mess.
Yes, huge problem. And so, yes, we were out doing a trash pickup. Jeremy Evans, who is also one of the founders / volunteers of the Public Land Stewards, will be joining us. We also have our mascot in the back, Rodney. Say hi, Rodney. And we are off on a cleaning adventure. So this is what we do. Come pick up trash. Usually the trash is left for us, and this just happens to be a pile. It's not in great condition. It's probably been out here for a little while. Animals have gotten into it a little bit. Weather's gotten to it a little bit. And it can get gross. Yeah.
But I figure we can just scoop and start pretty good. A lot easier. I do have buckets, FYI.
That might be... let's use that first.
We'll do both.
Right out.
I'm saying we have buckets.
Have to be very careful.
These are all thankfully kept.
Otherwise though, it's a lot of this. Right, Jeremy?
That kind of looks like a...
Does it look like a mannequin?
Those mannequin legs.
Yeah,
That's
it
what I
does
was
look like a
thinking.
mannequin.
I was like, huh, peg leg.
All right.
Interesting.
I'm trying to fill this bad boy up today.
It's our bags.
I was going to say, somebody might have got real high and cleaned their own camp of pine needles.
Like, I'm not seeing trash.
So these pine needles are actually from town. They're not from out here. So somebody is dumping, which we run into a lot out here, but that people don't realize. Somebody is coming from town and dumping their own yard debris and waste out here.
That is a healthy turd.
And now we found a shit bucket. Yay!
Nice small one. That was, you should be proud of that one.
Where are we, Kevin?
We're at not landfill, aka Deschutes County Solid Waste.
Yes.
Mostly solid.
Mostly. We like to think it's mostly solid.
We dump here because most people dump in a building, and most of this stuff is not suitable for people to be around. It's also not safe for the bald eagle population that lives here.
Yeah.
So they like to cover it up as soon as we dump it.
Yep. And yes, you heard him right. There is a bald eagle population nearby. I believe, how many nests are there?
17 mating pairs of bald eagles, and they're monitored by wildlife biologists with the Forest Service.
Yeah.
So they have to take care to look after the trash and make sure the bald eagles aren't eating it. Well, as much as possible.
Yeah, we don't want bald eagles eating trash. But we did get a shit ton of trash today. Look at this. Right, and that's why these awesome guys up here are helping to cover this as best they can and as quickly as they can. All right, now we're gonna get out of this winter weather. It is cold and raining.
It's gorgeous. No, 13, 25, roughly, 24. Somewhere in there.
So it's about 2,500 pounds of garbage we picked up today.
2420.
2420.
2,420.
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Be very careful, man. Yeah, I bet you somebody dumped the fridge. So this is what happened, Grace.
I don't know if we can pull this part up.
Somebody dumped the fridge, illegally dumped the fridge up at the site we found the dishwasher. Shooters came in, we're like, oh, there's a fridge. Let's drag it back to our shooting pit. And they brought it back here and completely destroyed it to the point where now it's a major hazard to try to get it out of the woods. And then you can obviously see too, it wasn't just shot, they started a fire and burn it. So the progression that trash goes through when it's illegally left out into our public lands is just incredible.
What are some of the threats that public lands face right now?
Mainly the threats that public land faces right now is shutdowns. You know, it's happening, I think real big in the news is in Moab. Moab just closed off hundreds, thousands of acres worth of public land accessibility to one of their biggest revenue chains, which is, you know, off-roading. People can't access these areas, and while some groups might be okay with that, other groups don't. I don't really feel like that's the essence of public land. Public land needs to be accessible for all user groups as long as they use it responsibly.
But we're seeing that same concept of control and making everyone live the way that this or this person feels they should move across the country. And public lands are taking the biggest hit right now, where they just keep getting shut down. You squeeze people tighter and tighter into one space. And it doesn't work well for the people, and it absolutely doesn't work well for the community that desperately wants to love and enjoy our outdoor lands.
When roadways or any swath of land gets shut down to any type of recreation, gets limited, it confines all the users to less places, and those with more people now on smaller swaths, those places see even more impact than they were seeing before, because there's only so much space for everyone to recreate. And it also, by confining everyone to the same space, we lose the element we all like about the outdoors, and that's, you know, being out there with nature, not with a whole bunch of other people. Most people go out to the forest for some solace.
Public land closures, typically when they close, it's going to be very difficult for them to open back up. When Bears Ears was looking to close off and get privatized, that was such a huge ordeal because people knew they weren't going to get that back. That was going to turn into something that was going to go away forever, and they were never going to be able to share with their families or future generations down the road. So yeah, it's a big problem. Once it goes away, it pretty much goes away for good.
It's a complete slap in the face to all the people who truly care and love for it so much and have spent their whole life so proud of the country they live in and the space they get to be in. People have to do something. You have to step forward and do something, because you will lose it.
A lot of our most recent impacts and issues on public lands and just even individual roads getting shut down are due to the mass numbers of people, especially in the last couple of years through COVID. In some places, hundreds of percent of increase, in some places, thousands of percent of increase. There's more people out there recreating. When we trample excessively beyond the existing roadways, we lose that element that all of us enjoy. And initially, most people don't see it as much of a big deal. But once one car does it, or any type of vehicle does it, it leaves a mark. And that basically provides the track for the next person to do it, and the next person. We lose the element that all of us want, one track at a time.
If you use public lands, if you're a public landowner, you are responsible for them. It's just like anything else. Practice makes perfect, but you have to start. You have to go do it. You have to do it the first time. A lot of times you fall on your face, it might hurt, whatever. But then you do it another time, and you keep going. That is how we solve these issues of closures and mismanagement and misuse of lands, is that we get started and then we keep going.
It shouldn't feel like a chore. It should feel like it's something that we all do because it's the way that we feel connected to the sport that we choose.
Shutting it all off, unfortunately, is why we clean and are hoping to keep this open. Shutting it all down for everybody loses.
Public land typically closes down because of A, environmental concerns, or B, misuse. That's what we see a lot, and that's really where public land stewards decide we can step in. a lot of cases we don't have control over environmental concerns, but all of us have control over misuse.
Through 2022, we picked up something like 316,000 pounds of trash. The idea is giving back. You know, you're looking after this for future generations, which is something I think our society has heavily lost in the last couple of generations.
Even in my time, I've seen access to those public lands shrink. There's not many places where we have this kind of freedom.
We never meant to be the trash guys. Like, that was not our intentions at all, ever. We just happen to be good at it. And it's a way to show that we care.
We're taking massive amounts of misuse and debris and, you know, trash off of public lands, and it's all volunteers.
We have been focused on cleaning for the sole purpose that we're not social workers. We don't have the solutions for all of the issues that are impacting things out here. We have one solution, is that we're good at removing trash. And if no one else is removing trash, we're at least keeping some trash off our land for the soil, the forest, the wildlife.
And if you start taking on the mindset of not just, oh, I own 250 million acres, but I am responsible for 250 million acres.
Our lakes, rivers, trails, mountains, deserts are nearly endless. And everyone coming together as a community to keep that here is invaluable.
It's been overwhelming to see, you know, how a community has come together around something that at first was just a passion between 3 individuals, and I just love every minute of it.